Okay, we're going to go to Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. So he said, he took a census of the men that was able to go to war 20 years old and up. So, looking at Deuteronomy 20th chapter says, when thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, and see horses and chariots and a people more than thou, be not afraid of them. For the Most High thy power is with thee, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. It shall be, say that, be afraid of these nations, because the Most High say he's with us. And it shall be, when ye are come nigh or near unto the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts or your minds faint. Fear not, and do not tremble, neither be ye terrified because of them. For the Most High your power is he that goeth with you, to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. We have the power of powers that went before us to fight against our enemies to save us. Verse 5, and the officers shall speak unto the people, saying, What man is there that has built a house, a new house, I might say, and have not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it. Say, a man that has built a new house, let him go and dedicate his house. Lest he die in the battle, and another man come and dedicate his house with his woman. They say, and what man is he that hath planted a vineyard and has not yet eaten of it? What man of it hath planted a vineyard and have not had a chance to eat of that vineyard? Let him also go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle and another man eat of it. So let him go and make sure he can eat of his own vineyard, lest another man gonna eat of his vineyard. And what man is there that hath betrothed a wife and have not taken her? He engaged to a woman that has not married her yet. Let him go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle and another man take her. She be another man's woman. And the officers shall speak further unto the people, and they shall say, What man is there that is fearful and faint-hearted? What man is scared that is scared and faint-hearted? Let him go and return unto his house, lest his brethren's heart faint as well as his heart. He be scared and cause somebody else to be scared. And it shall be, when the officers have made an end of speaking unto the people, that they shall make captains of the armies to lead the people. And thou comest nigh or near unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. And it shall be, if it make thee answer of peace, they answer back with peace, and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee. They shall serve thee. I mean, they're going to give us taxes. They're going to pay us tributary. And they're going to serve us, the 12 tribes of Israel. And if it will, if it will make no peace with thee, they don't want peace. They don't want to have peace with us, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it. You shall take it over. And when the Most High thy power hath delivered it into thine hands, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword. It said, kill every male thereof with the edge of the sword. But the women and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shalt thou take unto thyself. So we can take the women and the children and the cattle, all the spoil, everything that they have, we can take unto ourselves. And thou shalt eat the spoil of thine enemies, which the Most High thy power hath given thee. Thus shalt thou do unto all the cities which are very far off from thee, which are not of the cities of these nations. But of the cities of these people, which the Most High thy power does give thee for an inheritance, thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth. Wow. The cities that the Most High gave us for the 12 tribes of Israel, those lands, he said, you should not leave anything breathing. He said, thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth. That means kill everything that's alive. Men, women, children, everything that's alive. Cattle, everything. Thou shalt utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites, and the Amorites, Canaanites, and the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as the Most High thy power have commanded thee. He said, kill all these so-called Africans or Hamite nations, that they teach you not to do after all their abominations which they have done to their gods, their idols. So should ye sin against the Most High your power. That's why he said kill them all. So we don't learn the ways of the heathen and start saving their gods, as you see Solomon did. And many others, all Israel sin. Verse 19, when thou shalt besiege a city a long time, in making war against it to take it, thou shalt not destroy the trees thereof by forcing an axe against them. So don't cut down the trees, for thou mayest eat of them. And thou shalt not cut them down, or the tree of the field is man's life. For the tree of the field is man's life, to employ them in the seeds. See? You can live off these trees, the fruit of the trees. Only the trees which thou knowest that they be not trees for meat, for food, thou shalt destroy and cut them down. And thou shalt build bulwarks against the city that maketh war with thee, until it be subdued. Chapter 21, Deuteronomy 21. If one be found slain in the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee to possess it, lying in the field, see a man lying in the field, killed, and it be not known who have slain him, nobody knows who slain him, then thy elders and thy judges shall come forth, and they shall measure unto the cities which are round about him that is slain. You're going to look around and measure the city for where he's at on the ground slain. And it shall be that the city which is next unto the slain man, even the elders of that city shall take an heifer, which have not been wrought with, and which have not drawn in the yoke, haven't been able to plow any land. And the elders of that city shall bring down the heifer unto a rough valley, which is neither eared nor sown, and shall strike off the heifer's neck there in the valley. And the priests, the sons of Levi, shall come near. For them the Most High thy power have chosen to minister unto him, and to bless in the name of the Most High. And by their word shall every controversy and every stroke be tried. And all the elders of that city that are next unto the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifer that is beheaded in the valley. Cut that heifer's head off, and they're going to wash their hands over the heifer that is beheaded in the valley. And they shall answer and say, our hands have not shed this blood, neither have our eyes seen it. Nobody's seen who killed him. Be merciful, O Most High, unto thy people Israel, whom thou hast redeemed, and lay not innocent blood unto thy people of Israel's charge. Don't blame us as the Israelites for this death. And the blood shall be forgiven them. So shalt thou put away the guilt of innocent blood from among you, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Most High. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Most High thy power hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman. So we didn't killed the enemy. He already told us to kill the men. So you see a beautiful woman, and as a desire unto her, that thou wouldst have her to be thy wife, her to thy wife. You want to have this woman, you want to have sexual intercourse with this woman to be your wife, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house. Bring this captive woman to your house, and she shall shave her head. She got to shave her hair off of her head, and par her nails, cut her nails off. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her. She will put the clothes of her captivity from off of her, take those clothes off, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. She got to wait 30 days. And after that, thou shalt go in unto her. You can have sex with her after a month, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. Showing you that consummates marriage. And it tells you you have a desire unto her, that thou wouldst have her to thy wife. After a month, and it says, after she bewail her father and her mother a full month, and after that thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. Sexual intercourse. And it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, you don't like her no more, then thou shalt let her go whither she will. Let her go, free, wherever she want to go. But thou shalt not sell her at all for money. You can't sell her for money as she your slave. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her. You laid with her, so you humbled her. Verse 15. If a man have two wives, it's the law, that a man can have two wives, one beloved and another hated. We really like one, the other one he don't like that much. And they have borne him children. Both of them have had children by him, both the beloved and the hated. And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, so the firstborn son came from the woman that was hated. Verse 16, then it shall be, when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. So you can't take the one that you love, her son, and give him the inheritance. It says, but he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn. Gotta acknowledge the son of the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he hath, for he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. See, the firstborn, you will get a double portion of all that he hath, because he's the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. Verse 18, it says, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, don't want to listen to you, don't want to do what you tell him to do, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastised him, will not hearken unto them, the whooped his butt, and he still don't want to listen, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, and bring him out unto the elders of his city, and unto the gate of his place, and they shall say unto the elders of this city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. So eat a lot, want to eat a lot, and eat up all our food and drinking. And all the men of this city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shall I put up evil away from among you. And all Israel shall hear and fear. See? That's what they did to a stubborn son that don't want to listen. You know, that's the first commandment of promise. Honor thy father and thy mother, that their days may be long upon the land which the Most High given us. It says, so they said it was stoning. bet that would make children act obedient. That's what it says. And all Israel shall hear, they're going to hear about his son getting stoned to death, and fear. They're going to be afraid, scared. Death again. Verse 22, and if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day. For he that is hanged is accursed of the Most High, that thy land be not defiled, which the Most High thy power giveth thee for an inheritance. So, that's the law. And that's what happened with the Mashiach Yahushua. That's why they had to get him. And the rich man came, and Joseph came and begged for his body and taken off the tree to follow the law, as it is written. Look at St. John, the 19th chapter, and verse 38. After Mashiach Rashai had died on the tree, you see who killed him. People be saying, nobody knows who killed him. Let's see. St. John 19 and 23. Then the soldiers, when they had crucified a Mashiach Rashai, took his garments and made 4 parts to every soldier a part, and also his coat. Now the coat was without seam, woven from the top throughout. So he wasn't woven out of no burlap, but you see who killed him, who crucified him? The soldiers, Roman soldiers. They're the same ones that tell you in Revelation 1 and 7. Those that pierce him gonna see him too when he come back. So John 19 and 38. And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of the Mashiach Rashai, but secretly for fear of the Jews. See, it was gonna kill whoever it was that was following the Mashiach Rashai, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of the Mashiach Rashai. And Pilate gave him leave. He came therefore and took the body of a Mashiach. And there came also Nicodemus, which at the first came to a Mashiach Rashai by night, and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100 pound weight. That's a lot. 100 pounds of myrrh and aloes, 100 pound weight. Then took they the body of a Mashiach Rashai and wound it in linen clothes with the spices, as the manner of the Jews is to bury. See? Now in the place where he was crucified there was a garden, and in the garden a new sepulchre, wherein was never man yet laid. So it was a sepulchre that no man had laid in. There laid there a Mashiach Rashai, therefore because of the Jews' preparation day. For the sepulchre was nigh at hand, it was near at hand. See, going right along with the law, Deuteronomy 21 and 22. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day. For he that is hanged is accursed of the Most High. And he put on all the curses for we the children of Israel. Mashiach Rashai took that on. That thy land be not defiled, which the Most High thy power giveth thee for an inheritance. Deuteronomy 22. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them, Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. You see an ox going astray? It said, bring it back to your brother. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, near unto you, he don't live near you, or if thou know him not, you don't know who it is, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house. Bring it back to your own house, and it shall be with thee until thy brother seek after him. So they come looking for the ox. And thou shalt restore it to him again. Give it back to him. In like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost things of thy brethren, which he hath lost, and thou hast found, so thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself. You don't hide from your brother. You have it, then give it back to him. Verse 4, thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. You see him fall into a hole and fall down somewhere. You help your brother. You get him out of that situation. Verse 5, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. Meaning women are supposed to wear pants. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. Men are supposed to be putting on dresses. For all that do so are abomination unto the Most High thy power. That's a filthy, wicked act. That's sin. Every time you do it, it's being written in the books against you. So you see, that's the fad. That's the end thing now. Women wearing pants. But if you go back in time, you don't see where our elders, even the children, they didn't wear pants like they do today. They say all that do so are abominations to the Most High thy power. You abomination to the Most High. Verse 6, if a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way, in any tree, or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young. So you can't take the bird away from this young. But thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days. See, when thou buildest a new house, then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof. But thou bring not blood upon thine house, if any man fall from thence. And you make a railing around the roof of your house, so nobody fall. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seed. You're supposed to be mixing the vineyard with different seeds. Lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. So I mean, come on, they mixing all kind of seeds through Monsanto's today. You got seedless this, seedless that. They going in the labs coming up with all these different seeds. Pretty soon you're not going to be able to grow anything except for through Monsanto's. Seedless everything. Don't even taste the same. Tastes artificial, as it is. Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. You're supposed to put an ox and an ass together. You have all oxes or all asses. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts as of woolen and linen together. You can't make a garment of wool and linen together. It's going to be all linen, all wool. You're supposed to mix them two together like that. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture. These statutes. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. Four corners, four quarters. As you see here, I can show you two sides. Like you see here, one, two, see here. 3 and 4. That's what it's talking about. And that's not hard, it's just a matter of just doing it. Verse 12 again say, thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou covered thyself. Verse 13, if a man take a wife and go in unto her, you have sex with her, and hate her, he go into her and he hate her after he have had sex with her, humbled her, and give occasion of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. I found her not a young woman, not a virgin. Then shall the father of that other damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. That's where the elders were, at the gate. So they have, once you understand how this works. Let me give you an example. You can go back to our forefather Jacob, who had such a hard time in getting married to Rachel. Look at Genesis 29, and mind you, our forefather Jacob wanted Rachel. So verse 21 says, and Jacob said unto Laban, this is Rachel's father, which is his mother Rebekah's brother, the Syrian, who we come from, as the mother's side. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. It's what we call like a banquet, or I'm trying to think of when they have the marriage and they after they get married and they have the I can't think of it. Anyone know online what they call that? Once you get married and they go and they have a feast afterward today. What's that called? Reception. Reception, yeah. That's what it's called, reception. Quite sure. None of y'all knew that? Right. So, you see, and Laban gathered together. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, cool. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. That's what we call a reception. But it's different than what it is, how we do it now. But we still had what we call a reception, where they had a feast, right? And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter. This is Rachel's sister, Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for an handmaid. So Laban gave Leah Zilpah as a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. When he went in, it was evening, going into the chamber, while he had a feast. And in the morning he said, hey, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore, then hast thou beguiled me? Why you fooled me, man? And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me, yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week. He gave him Rachel, his daughter, the wife also. See? And so, just showing you that they had this feast, and it's really what they would call, when he went into her, it would go into a wedding chamber. And everybody would be outside having the feast. And they would have the virgin cloth. Whereas, let me give you an example. Go to, in the Apocrypha of 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. And this woman, she was praying for a child 30 years. So we're going to look at 2nd Esdras 9 and 45. But her womb was barren. Say, after 30 years, the Most High heard me, thine handmaid, looked upon my misery, considered my trouble, and gave me a son. And I was very glad of him. So was my husband also, and all my neighbors. And we gave great honor unto the Almighty, praising the Most High. Listen, and I nourished him with great travail. So when he grew up, he became grown, and came to the time that he should have a wife, I made a feast. Just like we see that Laban called all the men and made a big feast for Jacob. And him thinking he was going to get Rachel, but he put Leah in what we're going to read about instead of Rachel. Listen. So she made a great feast. And it came to pass, this is chapter 10, verse 1. It came to pass that when my son was entered into his wedding chamber, he fell down and died. See? So they go into the wedding chamber, like they would have the feast outside. They would have a room that the couple would go into, and they would, she was a virgin, she would have a cloth that she would lay on. And when her hymen is busted and the blood comes forth, it'll be on that cloth. And when she comes out, she gives it to her father with a token of her virginity. That's why we're reading about when a man finds some type of fault in the woman, and this is what determines that she's he don't find favor and say she wasn't made, or she wasn't, a virgin when I got with her to marry her. Going back to Deuteronomy 25 and 5. If brethren dwell together and one of them, that's not where we're at. Deuteronomy 22, Salakia, and 13. If any man take a wife, Deuteronomy 22 and 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, he already had sex with her, but now all of a sudden he hate her, and give occasion of speech against her, start talking about her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. She wasn't a virgin, a young woman, miracle age. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. So that's what I'm saying, they had that cloth to prove that their daughter was a virgin when he laid with her. They bring it to the elders that was always at the gate. They're always at the gate. That's the elders come out to bring forth judgment. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hated her. And lo, he hath given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And show it to her. And they shall spread the cloth, see, before the elders of the city. See? That cloth had the blood of her honor being broken. And the blood on that cloth. It was Satan. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him. They shall immense him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. But if this thing be true, if he's telling the truth, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, the token of her virginity don't be found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house. And the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shall I put evil away from among you. How could that work today? Man, there's many women that just going out there just laying with a man and just don't even amount to anything. Verse 22. That's what we did. It said, because she had wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house, so shall I put evil away from among you. That's what we did. So that evil, we can put it away from us. And like I said, they are here, people are here and they're fear. Verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, a woman lying with another man and she married, then they shall both of them die. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shall I put away evil from Israel. That's the whole thing. Put evil away from Israel. That's why when that woman came the men brought that woman to a Mashiach Yahushua. Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah. Go to John the 8th chapter. Mashiach Yahushua early in the morning went into the temple. He was teaching them then. Verse 3 it says, St. John 8 and 3 it says, and the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. So this woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. So this woman, she committed adultery, saying she was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But the Mashiach stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. Okay? So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto him, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. So, he that's without sin, he said, let him cast a stone at him. At her. So you cast a stone at her. You have no sin, you cast a stone at her. Just a moment. So we at St. John 8 and verse 3. It says, and the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. Now we just read the law. Keep this in mind. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they said to him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. What says thou? What you got to say about it? Moses said a woman that's caught in adultery should be stoned. What you got to say about it? Mashiach Yahushua. This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But the Mashiach Yahushua stooped down with his finger, wrote on the ground, as though he heard them not. So he just writing something on the ground like he didn't even hear him. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. You that are without sin, you cast the first stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the elders, even unto the last. And the Mashiach was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. So he left alone with this woman standing in the midst. When the Mashiach had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Where your accusers at? Have no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Master. And Mashiach said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. He forgave her. He gave her mercy. He said, hey, go and sin no more. So I asked the question, what was wrong with this scenario that we just read concerning the law we just read? I'm asking you on the conference call. What was wrong with that scenario of what just occurred concerning what should have happened concerning the law that we just read? Number one, I'll read the law again. Deuteronomy 22:22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shall thou put away evil from Israel. What do you have to say about it? Anyone? Come on, think. No one's going to answer. My question is they brought the woman that committed adultery. Where the man at? Where's the man? Hold up, let me make sure y'all might have said something. Did anybody answer? Because I couldn't hear you. Did anyone on the phone conference answer? What you say? What you say? Huh? Yeah, they didn't bring the man. Where the man at? They committed adultery with her. For her to have committed adultery. Come. It's about the woman. See, she committed adultery with another man because she was married. But where's the man that she committed adultery with? That's why we read it in Leviticus 22. Said it also in Leviticus 20 and 10. These are laws that the Most High, you notice the Most High, He's repeating himself. Most High speak once, yea, twice, and proceeded then not. So that's why a lot of times we see the same thing written over again. It says in Leviticus 20 and 10, and the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and adulteresses shall surely be put to death. That's the law. Leviticus 18 and 20. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her. You're supposed to lie with our brother's wives. That's adultery. So the man wasn't there. They just bought the woman. Who knows what was going on with them and her. Deuteronomy 5 and 18. Neither shalt thou commit adultery. Adultery is a man that sleeps with another man's woman, a woman that's married, goes outside of her marriage and sleep with another man. She's with a man, she's married to a man, she go out and sleep with another man. That's why I say they both supposed to be put to death, as it is written. And we seen it in a lot of places. Exodus 20th chapter, the 10 Commandments. That's when people say you're not under the law, you say, well, that means you can sleep with their wife. Well, you see what happened then. You can sleep with, a man can sleep with your wife, see what happened then. See the response you get with that question. Exodus 20 and verse 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery. See, it's all throughout here. So these are the things that we have to repent of, because the Most High, we had the law, you'd be put to death. We have mercy and grace, but we still got to do the best we can to follow the laws. You don't have to do that. Deuteronomy 22 and verse 23. The damsel that is a virgin, you betroth unto an husband, she engaged to a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her. She engaged to a man, and the man find her in the city and lie with her, have sex with her, then you shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city. That's where the elders are. And you shall stone them with stones that they die. That's how serious it is. To keep evil away and put away from we as the Israelites. And ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife, raped his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you, see? But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, in the world somewhere, she's engaged to a man, he find this woman, and the man force her, that means he rape her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt not do anything. You shall do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man rises against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field or in the world, somewhere in the street, and the betrothed damsel cried. She cried out. And there was none to save her. Nobody was there to save her. She cried out. There's no one to save her. That's why she's not worthy of death. That's why somehow you gotta cry. Open up your big mouth and holler and scream. If a man find a damsel, that is a virgin. That's a woman of marital age, whether she has sex or not. That's a virgin which is not betrothed, not engaged, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, or you done lay with her, she ain't engaged to no man, you done found her and even lay with her, and the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her, he may not put her away all his days. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. So you know a man is supposed to be laying with his father's woman, nor discover his father's skirt. See? Just a moment.